Last week, I asked a question. Why do we play games? There was one reason I called out as being a total cop-out, but it was a true statement. This week, I want to ask a different question. What world do you escape to? And what is it about that world that keeps bringing you back? Leave your answers in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Now that that's out of the way, look, I don't plan on throwing numbers at you in this video. It's not that type of video. It's not a research video. These are my personal thoughts and a means of starting a conversation. So, let's jump right into it. In the Western world, and I'm going to roll Japan, South Korea, and a few other countries into that list, life is boring. It's predictable, stale. I said it last time. We wake up, we eat, you get the idea. Don't believe me? Why are you on YouTube? Why are there so many videos about traveling? Most of us can't even afford it or have the time to jet set across the world. So, we watch videos, shorts, TikToks, or Reels about people who can. There's a phrase for this: living vicariously. Living vicariously sounds a lot less stigmatizing than escapism or escaping. Last video, I mentioned one of my favorite games to escape into is No Man's Skies. That, I wanted to explore space and live on other planets. The idea is simple enough. A new frontier, right? But why? What am I escaping from? The monotony of the day-to-day grind? Maybe it's escaping loneliness. It really depends. It's never the same thing though, is it? My answer why I escape into video games? It's wanderlust. The same reason so many people watch travel videos. A deep-seated need to see and do all the things. Let me jump back to Western society for a moment. What is presented to the rest of the world, and in many cases ourselves, are these people living in large houses with all these beautiful things around them. We have time to have a lovely breakfast with our family, send the kids off to school. We work a few hours, and then we go golf or hang out with the friends. Maybe we're on a jet to Tokyo. We also never miss Billy's basketball game because we work for ourselves and we pull in hundreds of thousands of dollars every week. We drive fancy cars and we are always sipping on the most expensive and finest wine. If only that were the case. The thing is, we don't have time. Look across the Western world. We don't work to survive. We survive to work. In the Western world, we have the highest rates of burnout, not just in jobs, but with school as well. The highest usage of, I guess we'll call them controlled substances. We have a drinking problem. And then we worry about things that really mean nothing at the end of the day. And what's sad is all those things are used to escape. Work, drugs, alcohol, even the worry. Alright, are we thoroughly depressed now? Fantastic. Now, let's go deeper, and we're actually going to focus on games. There's an entire genre of games built on the idea of living the ideal life. Quite possibly the most immersive game genre out there. And keep that word in mind, immersive. I'm talking about Sims. The Sim genre has exploded. The biggest game in the genre is, well, The Sims. Love it or hate it, it is easily the most immersive game out there. And they know what they're doing. Not so much on the corporate side of things, but as a game, they know what they're doing. Their slogan is, play with life. They pitch this game where you can make your perfect self, make your perfect spouse, work your perfect job, build your perfect house, live your perfect life. Live your perfect life. Maybe living an entire life is too broad of an idea for you. You want to know what it's like to fly an airliner. Oh, hello Flight Simulator. Or maybe you're enamored by big rigs. Is that a truck semi here honking? Or you're sitting there watching your football, doesn't matter what type. You see a play and you say, I could do better than that. The next thing you know, Madden or EAFC is all of a sudden on. So now you can feel that you are the star of the team. We even have sims for power washing or flipping houses. The simulation genre is a very wide genre, and we could argue that, as before, every game is a sim in some way. But the simulation genre takes that a bit further. It doesn't just simulate a world, it simulates an entire life. We could say that there are some high fantasy games out there that do the same thing, but it's different. Look, I hate to break it to you, but Hogwarts isn't real life. But that brings us to our next genre, RPGs. I do want to make a video about RPGs, because that's what I make, but this isn't the time. We're talking about escapism. Now, where Sims allow you to keep things grounded, typically staying true to the rules of life, RPGs take those rules and turn them completely on their heads. Where in Sims, we're allowed to play with life, RPGs typically have us playing a hero. I know you've heard it before. The fate of the world rests on your shoulders. Or, we have to stop the evil empire from taking over the galaxy. You get the idea. With RPGs, we're not building or playing our ideal life. We're dropped into a world as a hero that is supposed to save life. I know many of us have thought, oh, I would love to live in that world. Well, allow me to sidetrack for just a moment. Again, think of the game world that you'd want to live in. I'll give you a second. So, did you pick Stardew Valley? That's a sim basically, but at least you get to live. Did you pick Fallout? Well, you're probably dead. Honestly, most RPG worlds suck. I thought at one point, man, Night City would be an awesome place to live in. And then I thought, maybe not. I could be shot at any moment for minding my own business or driving to work. R.I.P. David's mom. If you know, you know. There are other reasons than the worlds we get to visit that help us escape. And one of those big ones is the adventure. Allow me to swing back to No Man's Skies. If you've ever played this game, you know the first time you play it, it is the most terrifying thing in the world. Dropped on an alien planet that is actively trying to kill you. Storms that could blow you kilometers away from your destination. And then you finally get off that world and make it to the next. All of a sudden, there are giant fauna everywhere. You don't know if they're friendly or vicious. You do what you need to, watching your back at every single turn. And then you make it off that planet into the space station. And there's new life. Sentient alien life. That's a relief. Until you eventually leave the space station and get attacked by pirates. Or worse yet, sentinels. You quickly realize that this game is dangerous. But you get to travel through space. Any world, any star. It's freeing. And in games like this, you do work to survive. You go out, make a little bit of money, makes your adventures a little bit easier, but never too easy. But that's just one game. What about my favorite series, Final Fantasy? Look, I said that unless you're playing a sim, you're probably not going to make it out alive. And same goes for Final Fantasy. But what is it about these games, these worlds? I mean, Final Fantasy X has a beautiful world. Probably the prettiest in the entire series. But that's not the only reason I go back. It's the characters. I think that's why we return to a lot of these games. And that brings us to another topic. Loneliness. When I say loneliness, I don't necessarily mean romantically. I'll say it. The greatest cast of characters in a Final Fantasy game was in 15. You could feel their camaraderie. Unlike most RPGs, they started the game together, and they died together at the end. It wasn't about running around finding this ragtag group of people that are going to save the world. No, you were dropped into an established friend group, and you could see how much they meant to each other. Even when they were fighting with one another, there was never love lost. The quips they would say to each other during combat, or the way they'd move as a complete unit, they'd poke fun at each other, encourage one another, and as you played the game, you grew attached to them. It was no longer the four of them, it became the five of you. You felt the pain Noctis felt as he cried over Luna's body, the regret when Iggy lost his eyesight, or the panic when Prompto fell off that train. You supported Gladios when he said, "I have to go take care of some business." You became part of that group of friends, that group of brothers. A bond that many of us can only dream of. Well, why don't you just go out and make some friends? Let me remind you, we live in a Western society, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. Most people these days look out and decide pretty quickly that it's just not worth it. We don't shop online necessarily to get great deals. We shop online so we don't have to deal with other people. So having that outlet, that group of friends, even if it is fictional, it's comforting, a safe space. You can't talk to them, they can't give you advice, they can't comfort you when you're down, but whatever it is they do, it does help. Let me swing back to Cyberpunk 2077 for a spell. If you haven't played this game already, or know what happens, I'm sorry. There have been spoilers throughout this whole video, and they're gonna keep coming. At the beginning of the game, when we lost Jackie, we felt like we lost a part of ourselves. When V lost seemingly everything, Jackie tells V, "I think you just gained your life back." Was he talking to V? Or was he talking to you? Did he just encourage me to quit my job, move to France, find a French wife, have some kids, and actually enjoy life for once? Jackie wasn't just talking to V. Jackie was talking to you, to me, to all of us. When things seemed like they were at the bottom, when we were at the end, no, Chum. It's just a beginning. It's not just with Jackie. We were there when Judy needed us. We built a brotherly bond, or more depending on how you swing, with River. And we went to the end of the earth to help his family. And when Panam told us that she was going to pick us up so we could raid a corporate building to try and save our lives, now, that is some real ride or die shit. The world of Cyberpunk is interesting. But what do we remember? It was the characters we met, the bonds we created. Even if they are fictional, it helped many of us in some way. Now, this isn't video game exclusive. This still happens with other forms of media, books, movies, and TV. We become attached to the characters. Have you ever seen Peaky Blinders? Remember when they killed Grace? Yeah. Feel that feel for a minute. I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. How hard did that line hit in Lord of the Rings? It's true. We play games and watch movies or TV and read books to escape, because those stories, those worlds, the people, they don't just allow us to decompress. They don't allow us to escape the day-to-day or distract us. They provide us with much more. A new life, a feeling that we can do anything, a lover, an enemy, or a friend. Okay, that got heavy. But that said, how about you go say hello to that old friend you haven't seen in a while? Keep playing. Bye for now.